Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. It's me, 36 Chambers of Funk, and I'd like to welcome you to the My Hero chapter review, chapter 303, titled Top 3. Now, this chapter, it's a good chapter. After reading it and going over everything mentioned in this chapter, there are three main discussion parts that I want to discuss. Three main things that they talk about in this chapter, which I think will have a bigger, which will have the biggest impact on the series going forward. Now, the first part of the chapter, we see Hawks and Best Genius inside NG's hospital room alongside the rest of the Todoroki family. Now, Best Genius and Hawks are filling in Endeavor about the current situation on Japan and how the heroes and society are dealing with Shigaraki. I would say the heroes. I would consider that the heroes lost the war. In my eyes, in terms of morale, the amount of heroes that have lost their lives, and just overall, the overall morale loss that the heroes would have faced after everything that's happened. The fact that there's been a prison break orchestrated by Shigaraki / All for One, and 10,000 prisoners have escaped and are running loose all over Japan, and this is causing the civilians to take up arms and use their quirks, even though a lot of them probably haven't been trained, but they may have. We've seen in chapter 300, I believe. We see civilians picking up I'm not gonna say hero equipment because it is a quirk support item, so it'd be the equivalent of someone carrying around a gun or a bat in this day and age. But because of this, that's causing a lot more casualties and a lot more damage overall to neighborhoods and cities, because we have untrained civilians using their quirks and fighting villains, and this is causing untold damage as well as the villains attacking themselves. Plus, we have the Hero Safety Commission, which is basically inactive because its core members were either killed or put in hospital by Redestro. And this happened, I believe it was just before the war. I say the hospital, the battle at the hospital took place. But another thing I do like that Hawks has mentioned is that the Japanese government have been requesting help for relief workers and other heroes from around the world. Now, this I'm excited about because, for one, as I mentioned, we've seen civilians taking up arms against the villains, and people who are generally just trying to use their quirks for their own means. So I'm hoping maybe we may see a prominent vigilante rise up from some of these civilians, or I hope I wanted was to see Koichi from My Hero Vigilantes and make a return as the vigilante crawler, because for me I love Koichi, and I think it would just be great to see the main series spin-off character join the main series. I've mentioned this before, but we also have the mention of heroes retiring. I mean, after the war, the amount of deaths, civilian and hero, a lot of heroes are now retiring because they don't want to face the public backlash and the scrutiny that they're facing from their former fans and the general public at large. Now, like I said, hero support has been requested from around the world, so we do see a silhouette of maybe 4 to 5 characters, but 2 characters I've been able to make out with a bit of research on the My Hero wiki is Hero Ecto Plant and Niagang. Now, Ecto Plant is from America. We see him in the My Hero Vigilante, the My Hero Two Heroes movie in the beginning, when we see All Might back in his younger years in America. So we see one American hero and potentially a North African hero by the name of Nigang. Nigang is from Sudan, and Nigang's quirk is spirit possession, so he can use his spirit in order to possess other people, I believe, is what according to the wiki, and we see him in the Two Heroes movie as well. But I don't think we really get to see him fight at all or use his quirk, because I'm pretty sure he's one of the heroes that get captured. Now, Ecto Plant, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Ecto Plant. Yeah, his quirk is electricity generation, so obviously we all know what electricity generation will do, so he could shoot lightning from his hands, etc. There are other heroes who are silhouetted, and I can't really make them out, and the silhouettes don't ring a bell of any characters I've seen so far in the series, but I may do some more research, and hopefully when chapter 3 or 4 comes out, we may get some reveal, we get some actual face reveals. Now also, I am hoping to see some heroes from other countries as well, such as China, the UK, Russia, Germany, South America, just to name a few, because I think it would do the series wonders. I mean, the series is pretty great as it is already, you know, but I just think it would do the series great to see to have other heroes incorporated from around the world to see, because I think it's something that Hirokoshi would do really well. Another hero, because I've also mentioned the Vigilante spin-off manga, is Captain Celebrity, and as you know, he is a US hero, a hero from the USA, and we've already seen him in the Vigilante series. So if you haven't seen My Hero Vigilantes, I suggest you start reading it, or just read the chapters where we see Captain Celebrity, because I have a strong hope that he will be one of the heroes that we'll see later on, because it just makes sense, because he was the former number one hero in America a few years ago. He may not be the number one hero anymore in America, but it would still be great to see him again in the series, to see how much his character has changed. The second thing I wanted to discuss, well, not discuss, but we see Hawks and Best Genius, and as I already said, they're in the hospital room, but they're also offering Endeavor their support, their moral support and physical support, in order to help combat basically all this destruction, the villains escaping, etc. But also in relation to Dobby, his son Toyo Todoroki, who was revealed in the war. Now, because this has caused a huge backlash to Endeavor's name as a hero, especially when Dobby mentioned the forced quirk marriage and Endeavor's abusive child rearing methods. Hawks and Best Genius, like I said, are offering their support. Hawks has not wavered in his support for Endeavor since day one, but we know this is because Endeavor inadvertently did help Hawks free himself from his own terrible parental situation that he was facing growing up, because as we know, Hawks' father was a villain. He wasn't a prominent villain, but he was a person in the he was a person in the My Hero world who used his quirk to commit crime. So, well, yeah, he would be considered a villain then. So it's nice to see that from Hawk, because yeah, with Endeavor being told by Hawks himself that he needs to make a statement about Dobby and everything that Dobby said, because the cars hit the fan, and there's nothing Endeavor can't deny anything that Dobby has said, because we all know it's true. So the best thing Endeavor can do is just make a statement and then damage control the best way he can from that point on. But another thing as well that needs to be explained to the media and society at large is One for All, because Hawks as well mentions that during Endeavor's fight with Shigaraki, we hear Endeavor mention one for all. But this is him simply repeating what Shigaraki was saying, one for all. And as we know, Shigaraki wasn't in the best mental state at the time, because he just woken up from the tank, and I believe at that time he was still battling. He was still being made aware of All for One's a consciousness within his body, and that was kind of taking over at certain points. So So yeah, somehow Endeavor's comms was released or leaked to the public, which I think will possibly will be touched on how the public have found out about this, because as far as I'm aware, the comms the heroes were using, I'm sure it wouldn't have been broadcast to the general public. So, because anyone could listen in and then relay information to any villains or villain supporters, if you were, who wanted to foil any of the heroes. Now, Endeavor does recall that Deku mentions that that Shigaraki is after him, and so this now leads Best Jeanist and Hawks to what after discussing with NG about, as I mentioned before, the state of the country as a whole and their plans moving forward, and how basically Hawks doesn't hold any grudge against not Darby but the Todoroki family itself, because as you know, it's their eldest brother has basically has essentially given him third degree burns and put him in the hospital. But we see but after they offer their support and to the Todoroki family and Endeavor in dealing with Darby, we see them leave and head to Deku's room to talk to him about one for all. Sorry, it is so confusing the way Hirokoshi's done the naming schemes. One for all for one, or one for all for one. It's so annoying sometimes when talking about it, even when talking about it with friends. It's tricky and I get so confused. But as we see, but like I said, as we see, Best Genius and Hawks leave the Todoroki family to go speak to Deku. Now outside of Deku's room, we see Bakugou. He's awake now. He's not 100% okay. I mean, he did get like stabbed through the chest, or he did get stabbed through the chest, but he's making a recovery. He's not like, there's no there doesn't seem to be any long lasting damage on him, and he's basically being pulled away by Sato, Mineta, and Suru, because he's screaming trying to get to Deku's room, because he's found out Deku's in a coma and in a full body cast. Now,